get you ready for Indianapolis. We're going to see Matt Rule, Jeff Sims, the quarterback, Ethan Piper on the offensive line there, then Luke Reimer, all those guys dressed up nice. By the way, our boy Gary Michaels, I know, outfitted them all. So Nebraska's guys will come in that room with skin-tight fitted suits by the best around. Our boy Gary Michaels actually has an office down the hallway from us up here in the post office building. But
interesting.
It should be interesting to see Matt Rule. I think we're all in agreement that Matt Rule is going to get up there like some sort of flown in professional speaker at a medical conference in Houston and just
it'll be a TED talk.
It'll be impressive. Probably the most impressive. Who else would be impressive in this? He'll be the most impressive. We don't know about Ryan Walters. Maybe he's got a gift.
He's got some energy.
Like Luke Fickell, you would think would be, but he's not. He's a great coach. We all agree that, but he's closer to like a Bo Pelini kind of presentation.
You know who'd be pretty good? Fitz. It's a little too early.
He would have been great, wouldn't he?
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Sorry, Sean. I apologize to Northwestern fans all over America.
No, you don't.
You just added your name to the lawsuit.
Sean.
But yeah, I think Rule, just that moment for him, when you think about a year ago, how bad it kind of was for Scott Frost. Number one, the whole situation, we kind of knew there was a lot of tension already going on with Nebraska's leadership and Frost heading into the year. But then at media days, they had to start the event early just for Nebraska because of their fall camp schedule.
And then there was no opening statement. And
straight to questions.
Yeah, and that became a thing. I mean, it's a little nuanced because he had already addressed the media off to the side. I think that was.
He already talked for like a half hour.
Did I really bring this up?
So he talked before the commissioner even talked, which the traditional way a media days opens, the conference commissioner goes first. It's his league. He's the man. You let him go, then everybody else gets to go. Well, they accommodated Nebraska, which I'm sure they were just thrilled. And they're like, you guys can go at like 8 a.m. while the commissioner won't go till 10.
I would have liked to see Frost give a little state of the conference.
If you remember last year, Nebraska was out of there by like 11.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. This year, I believe they started 11.
And they're day 2.
Yeah.
And then, fall camp starts Sunday. The players report Sunday, and then they begin practice Monday.
Okay. That's the big one.
It's going to be, there's a recruiting weekend. There's a lot going on this weekend, but I think for Nebraska, just Rule's the story, and there's going to be kind of your odds and ends beat writer questions that we have for Rule.
Rob had the storylines. What else do you have, Rob?
Yeah, so things personally we'll be keeping an eye on. There was with the players they chose to bring. The fact that Jeff Sims has never played a single down as a Nebraska Cornhusker, and he was picked as one of the 3-player representatives. Yeah, he's the quarterback. We know that, but it's still notable. I mean, this is a guy that had just arrived here a few months ago and is now one of the 3 faces of the program, and how he handles that, how he represents Nebraska on that type of stage in his first unofficial introduction to the Big Ten Conference is certainly something to watch. And then, with the offensive line being such a critical component to Nebraska's season, Ethan Piper is going to be the face of that. And then why Ethan Piper? He was a guy that has kind of been in and out of the starting lineup over the course of his career, and now he was handpicked by this coaching staff to represent the entire program. And so I think that's notable about his rise this offseason to where not just on the field with his play, but his leadership and his status in that locker room. Right. This is pretty good indication of how far he's come in that regard. And then Luke Reimer, I think kind of the note in the story that's going to run later this week could this be the start of a potential all Big Ten season for Luke Reimer? Sip, you've mentioned before about where he could potentially end up in Nebraska's all-time tackle leader list.
Third or second.
He's obviously an intriguing player in this defense with his speed and how that fits in Tony White's system. And so, he's the one defensive player that was chosen to come. So obviously Nebraska thinks very highly of him as well. So, for these 3 players, each one of them brings their own kind of little interesting side storylines where Matt Rule is going to be in the spotlight, but those 3 guys are going to be fun to talk to as well.
Do you know who's not on all Big Ten teams? Players on teams that win 4, 5, 6 games. So I think for when you start to talk about that,
Yeah.
you got to be up there with the wins. And that's where if there's ties, and I'm a voter on this year, I understand how you tend to lean towards the players that are on the better teams.
Sure.
And, like Trey Palmer, perfect example, led the Big Ten in a lot of these receiving categories nationally even, but he still wasn't first team all Big Ten.
No, he wasn't like that. He wasn't like Marvin Harrison.
No. And I think with Luke Reimer, we know he's going to have stats.
He's got to put up numbers. He did. I mean,
if he's healthy,
led the team in tackles last year, missing 2 games.
Mhm.
I mean, he missed 2 games last year and still led him by a long way.
But it's the context of how those stats are made.
sure,
Are they in big games that matter?
sure.
And that's how he gets up there. Otherwise, he's a second, third team guy. But when you're talking first team, I mean, you're talking all Americans.
Well, look at the linebackers in the Big Ten right now. Like,
they're all Americans.
they're all like potential first round draft picks. When you got Tommy Eichenberg from Ohio State, who was getting first place votes, you got Abdul Carter from Penn State, who's getting first team votes, and then Maima Jong-Meta from Wisconsin. Sorry, I butchered
nailed
that.
it.
Did I?
No.
Is that the guy?
God, I was really going to be proud of myself.
Thanks,
there. Thank you.
Ramir.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Jordine.
And so
Okay.
to make all conference at linebacker in the Big Ten this season is a accomplishment, even if you're third team,
It's
just
a
because of
linebacker
the
league.
level of talent
Yeah.
across the board at that position.
It's
That's
a
a linebacker
linebacker and a
league.
running back. And this year, it's a receiver league.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of and it's always a tight end league.
Yeah, it is.
I
Nebraska,
feel like
hopefully Nebraska will kind of join that little legion.
the
you know.
the quarterback position, McCarthy is kind of your outright front runner as like all Big Ten right now, based on the season they've had and what he's done.
The Maryland quarterback is
Again, though, it's the context of the stats.
Yeah.
Like McCarthy's doing
Oh, yeah,
them
he's in
in
it.
playoff meaningful
Right,
games.
Oh, I got you.
Tagaloa is doing them.
They were 8-5 last year.
Tagovailoa.
Like he's doing them in games where they might be down and they have to throw more. But yeah, he's a good. I mean,
Terps were 8-5.
he's an NFL quarterback.
Terps will be tough in Lincoln.
Oh yeah, Nebraska's getting them after Penn State, which is a
That helps.
huge break.